off with the hot topic of the hour. Vice President Kamala Harris formally conceding to President-elect Donald Trump yesterday and promising a peaceful transfer of power. President Biden then invited Trump to the White House to move along the transition process. Fox News' digital political correspondent Brooke Singman now with the very latest. Brooke.
Good morning, Maria. That's right. President Biden is planning to address the nation this morning after extending that invitation to President-elect Donald Trump to return to the White House and speed along the transition process. The Trump campaign accepting the sitting president's invitation and putting out this statement saying, quote, President Trump looks forward to the meeting, which will take place shortly, and very much appreciated the call. The invitation coming hours after Harris formally conceded to President-elect Donald Trump yesterday after his sweeping and decisive victory. Trump also securing another blue wall battleground state in Michigan, putting him on track to sweep all the swing states. Harris called Trump to personally congratulate him on the defeat and then address the nation in a speech in Washington, D.C. Listen.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice.
With Harris urging voters to continue the fight, Democrats are looking for blame. Time magazine writing this, quote, there is plenty of blame to go around, but most of the finger pointing hasn't been aimed at Harris, who ran a truncated campaign that was generally well regarded before the election day drubbing. Instead, some of the sharpest criticism focused on President Joe Biden for moving forward with a catastrophic re-election bid that set the stage for an across-the-board failure. Now, other Democrats are acknowledging defeat and the reasons behind it. New York Congressman Richie Torres posting this take to X saying, quote, there is more to lose than there is to gain politically from pandering to a far left that is more representative of Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok than it is of the real world. The working class is not buying the ivory towered nonsense that the far left is selling. And Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders posting this to X saying, quote, it should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change. President-elect Donald Trump now begins the process of meeting with his transition team and strategizing about how he will fill his next administration with potential cabinet members ranging from rivals turned allies, current lawmakers, and former senior officials. Maria?
All right, Brooke, thank you so much. Brooke Singman, lot to unpack there, guys. Jonathan, your reaction?
Her speech was a little bit, I don't know if it's quite bizarre, and I want to give her some grace, but it wasn't graceful. She had the opportunity to just concede and say, we wish you well. This idea we're continuing the fight, the presumption is, oh, we were right all along, as opposed to the American people, which really is the disconnect with her campaign. And her whole campaign was always this inconsistent message. We're the joy in Hitler campaign. It was never in sync, and and I think really this is probably the last we're going to see of Kamala Harris on the national stage, quite honestly.
Yeah, I don't understand what she's fighting about, because if you want to look at democracy, look at censorship and look at how the left has tried to censor American citizens. That is one of the cores of democracy, and no one is fighting against that. In fact, they're fighting against some of those moves from the Democrats. What do you think?
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
I'm actually not as fired up about Kamala's generalities about fighting in her speech. What I'm concerned about is what you're hearing from some of the media elites and the people that are involved and entrenched in administrative Washington, because they're saying the quiet part out loud already.
Yeah.
I mean, we're listening 36 hours from him being declared, and they're saying the administrative state needs to make sure that Trump cannot put forward his agenda.
Well, I want to talk about that, because we've got now, 90 days or something. We want to see what the Biden administration does before Trump walks in. I mean, remember the last time Trump was coming in, Obama changed how the FBI and the CIA worked together with that whole Russia collusion nonsense. But you're right about the media. There was a media meltdown on television and late night shows yesterday.